Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the video. Today we're going to talk about the Storm Collectibles Gears of War Warden. And me and my wife, we play a lot of Gears of War. And let me tell you, the first time we fought the Warden, we got our butts whipped because we like to be crazy people and start the game on hard. And he wrecked us. He wrecked us hard. So doing all those side missions and running up a Warden was always fun and daunting. And it's cool to get it as a toy. My wife loved it. But now I'm here to talk about it. So yeah, the Warden is a big guy. I don't have anybody compared to him just yet because we're not going to skip straight to the size comparison. But just like in the game, he pretty much towers over most people. I think Storm does a real good job of doing bigger characters and still making them pretty mobile. And that's kind of the fun that I'm enjoying with the Warden as well, too. He's got 30 points of articulation. But what's crazy is like big guys really don't, they very rarely get articulation that allows them to move pretty well. And his is pretty solid like every other Storm figure. There's only one gripe I have, and that's with the ankles. And it keeps him strong, but it doesn't have the mobility that I really want. But let's get into that in a second. Up close, right? This guy is pretty nice. I really like the sculpt that they gave him. Let me see if I can get some light and focus on that. Give me one sec. There we go. I really love this sculpt that they gave him. If anybody knows how to customize and paint, you can add even more detail to it. But I think it's done pretty well to a point where you see that his face is his weak point. It's the only one that has any type of real scar tissue. And that's why I started off with the helmet off. We'll get to the helmet on in a second when we get to the accessories. But yeah, as far as the look, I think it's pretty solid. As you can see here, you're going to see that little itty bitty gap there. And that gap is all right because that allows for the mobility and movement. You can actually rotate that up and around. So let's start with articulation from the head up. Give me 1 second. I'm going to raise it up so we can start truly at the head. There we go. So our head articulation can move up. And as you can see, it can move pretty far up. We can actually move down. We can go left. We can go right. And we have room for expression. That's sort of the reason why I like the really soft plastic look on the Storm Collectible stuff. Arm-wise, even with the crystal arm, we can still lift our arm up. It's going to be a little tough at first, but you'll be able to get there because that soft plastic pretty much allows you to still move it around. So you can still get your T-pose. You have bicep swivel. And all of these joints are pretty tight, so just be careful, you guys. And we have our double joint. Our double joint is going to be stopped by the armor, though. That's the only part that's a little bit of a bummer. Let's rotate this back in. Wow, that's really tight. We have our butterfly joint. Soft plastic allows it to get all that range. Even over here, we have our soft butterfly joint. And we can still lift our arm all the way up. And we still have bicep swivel. So all of that is still there. You have your standard wrist peg articulation, which rotates around. Even if I pop the hand off, you'll see that the peg is there. Up, down, A, B, start. It'll be rotate around. It's really tough in certain spots, but that's because I haven't oiled this bad boy up. I want to make sure all the articulation stays there. As far as the mid-torso, we can go left, we can go right, we can go forwards, we can go backwards. And again, you'll see the opening here, and that's because I haven't fixed this part here. That's my fault. But it does allow you to have range. If you don't like the gap, you can easily hide it by just moving it back down. It won't be an issue. Underneath, we have this peg piece, and this is what I was talking about. You got to fix this up here, because if you don't fix it up, what'll happen is it'll get bunched up. It won't cause anything to rip gladly, but it will get bunched up, and then it'll get caught here. But you want to make sure you keep it pretty visible. We have our thigh swivel. Oh, well, not a swivel. We have this swivel here, as you can see it here. We can go far forward, and we are double jointed. But obviously, because of the way the leg armor is, you can't get that far. We can go backwards, we can go forwards, and we have toe pivot. I would have liked it to be able to turn in a little better, and that's the only bummer that I have. I really would have been able to get really crazy if I could turn it in just a little bit more. But overall, it's still pretty decent. He gets some really nice poses anyway. But because you can't get that foot really flat, sometimes you have to be careful with your posing. So yeah, as you can see here, Storm Warden, I don't know why I call him Storm Warden. Oh, Storm Collectibles Warden, but Storm Warden. I'm like, why did I call him that? That's why. But you can get pretty posed up really well. As a bigger character, he looks really good. And you can still get pretty much action poses with his breaker maces, which we'll get into right now. So let's talk about the accessories. Your main man Storm Warden comes with what you would expect him to. But you do get a little bonus part, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. First off, let's talk about his helmet, which I left off, but it actually is here, and it's pretty nice. It just fits right on top of the head with no issue. And it looks good. Fits on. That's pretty simple. As far as hands, you will get these open hands. These will be for walking around looking really cool. You're going to get your open action hands. Now with your open action hands, you'll be able to grip pretty much human heads. You can see here, like if you want to grab a head or use the helmet. And this is going to be your bonus part that you get, a Carmine head. Your Carmine head, you can actually put on the Marcus body, or you can put it on the Cole body. Hopefully we get Dom soon. I'm really hoping we get Dom. And then we're going to talk about how we have our hands for holding the breaker mace. For the breaker mace, if you want to know how to put it on, what I recommend you do is, because it's soft plastic and they make it pretty easy, you can just gently slide it in by opening it up. Just slide in. No problem. Now let's talk about the breaker mace. Now, this is probably my favorite thing on it because I love this weapon in the game. I love being able to have it. And it's cool because it does have the feature just like in the game. Unfortunately, it doesn't light up. I would love that. But you can actually rotate it so that it does it just like in the game, like when he activates it. So you can have your breaker mace do the real thing. Just or you can leave it flat like when it's in storage mode. But you don't get one, you get two, just like the Warden carries. And after you defeat him, you can clearly just put it in one of the other characters' hands. So let's talk about that real quick. Here is Cole, right? I want to show you bonus-wise, right? The peg is a little tight, but it does fit on there. Mine's have that shifting peg issue because I knocked it out of place, taking this guy apart. I shouldn't have did that because I caused an issue myself. But the peg does fit on the Cole body, and it does fit on the Marcus body. So we're going to show you both. So here it is on the Cole body, sitting a little low. But like I said, you see my peg is coming down. I really have to fix this, but I never got around to doing it. And then on the Marcus body, this is how you get a Carmine. If you guys look right here, this is really cool. You'll be able to make a Carmine or a Cog or whichever one you want. You can do whatever you want, but I'm going to call him a Carmine. So this is your way of making Carmine. Looks really good. I'm going to pop the Cole head back on because I do want to talk about how the storage for the breaker maces and if these guys can actually hold them. Now, I haven't tested it yet, so I'm going to test it right here on camera. And it looks like the hands are made, they thought about it in the future. You can pretty much hold the breaker mace with Cole. And let's test it with Kate. I'm pretty sure Kate can hold it as well too, because she can hold the other weapons. That means she's pretty up. So she can hold this as well too. Now, her body and her peg comes down a little faster as Cole was able to hold it up better. So you would have to be careful and probably do this, make it cool and hold it over the shoulder. Sergio, if you're watching this review, just know that I love your Gears of War photos. And I can't wait to see you get him because I was talking about it the other day. Like, I love your photos and I can't wait to see. Now, we've talked about all the bonus heads. We've talked about all the accessories. Let's get into the size comparisons. This is where it gets really fun for a lot of people. So let's get to it. Before we jump into size comparisons, one thing I want to talk about is I forgot to mention this cape. Now, I'm not bothered by this cape because it doesn't hinder anything and it actually moves pretty freely. I would still prefer a cloth cape, but this actually doesn't bother me. It's weighty, it's meaty, it holds the character and make sure he doesn't topple over, which is actually pretty nice. But I still would prefer a cloth cape. But I don't think it can be possible because this cool chain definitely adds the character to this guy. And I don't think this could be replicated in cloth, unfortunately. But yeah, size comparison time. All right, let's get him positioned up pretty well. Let's get our light moved over and let's start comparing them. You are going to see me compare with some Storm collectible stuff as well as other lines as usual. So let's start with the Storm stuff first. Here is your main man, Coltrane. As you can see, he's tiny compared to the Warden. Here's Kate. And even she is going to be tiny compared to the Warden. And then we have Carmine, who I'm not going to call Marcus anymore because he has the Carmine helmet on. So here we are with Carmine. Now, the Storm stuff is actually pretty decent in terms of size because those guys are already pretty big and the Warden pretty much towers over them. So I think that's really accurate. So when we get to other lines, just know that they're going to be tiny, tiny, tiny compared to this guy. So in terms of other Storm stuff, here is Scorpion, right? Here is Sagat, one of the taller characters, and he still is smaller than the Warden. Here's Kazuya Mishima, the final battle version. Come on, Kazuya. Oh, why are you not standing up, Kazuya? What's up? Oh, tiptoe time. So yeah, still nice range between the guys. It's all a bunch and real different. I'm actually gonna have to do two size comparisons. Forgot to bring down some stuff, so I'm gonna add it in. Here is Storm Collectibles Fuma. I gotta finish this guy's photos because I actually had a lot of fun, just like I did with Hanzo on this guy. Here is a Marvel Legends Outback Hulk, and even he's tiny compared to the Warden. Now we're gonna compare some other stuff. Let's start off with the NECA Borg Predator. And these guys usually tower over everyone. They're tiny, tiny. Let's do a SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Kuga. He looks like a small child compared to the Warden. Here is a Lightning Collection Red Dino Thunder Ranger. Ooh. Why you knock him over like that? Let's move you out. Let's get something else in there. Here is a Marvel Legends Hydra Soldier. Wow, what is wrong? Here is an Articulated Icons Ninja. Let's get you to stand up. There we go. And here is a 1000 Toys Synthetic Carb. Warden towers over all. He has basically height overall. Ooh. I don't know which thing's falling today, but it's a little bit of a bummer. Maybe it's the fact that my diorama is different. Here we are with a Mezco Me, which I am also tiny compared to the Warden. Now I'm going to take a quick break, which will be like half a second to you guys, and I'm going to compare it to some larger Storm Collectibles as I go grab them. Let's do that. All right, here's some more bonus stuff. Here's Bane, here is Doomsday, and here's Zangief. So we have a bunch of other Storm stuff, and as you can see, the Warden is slightly bigger than Doomsday, only slightly. And it looks like Doomsday technically, even on my end, it still looks like it's the Warden. But just another bonus, here is a McFarlane Azrael in bat armor. And he is one of the bigger McFarlane 7-inch characters. And all of these guys tower over him without question. So yeah, big guys, big guys. So I want to give the big guys some love. And hopefully you guys will enjoy the photos at the end. Thank you to Storm Collectibles for sending this guy over, letting me play out. Just let me play with it and have some fun with it. I hope you guys truly do enjoy the photos at the end. I've been having fun trying out a new style. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. All right, guys. In the meantime, you know the deal. Be good, do good, drink your water. Later.